little bit of introduction and welcome while people are still filtering in, and then we'll have our opening ceremonies and the national anthem. But we appreciate you coming to our Trempealeau County Relay for Life. We are joining the American Cancer Society to create a world free from pain and suffering that's caused by cancer. We have all gathered this evening because cancer is terribly destructive and disease continues to affect the lives of those we love, something we simply cannot ignore. By the end of this year, 1.6 million people are expected to be newly diagnosed with cancer, and nearly 600,000 people will die from the disease. Cancer is the second most common cause of death in the United States, exceeded only by heart disease, and accounts for nearly 1 of every 4 deaths. It's a worthy opponent, to say the least. It has a formidable nature, a resourceful manner, and a destructive appetite. But it will never have what we have. We have an advantage over cancer because of the generosity of people like you. You have courage, hope, empathy, and determination. Together we can make the greatest impact to save lives, and that's why we're here today. When we raise money through the Relay for Life of Trempealeau County, we help the American Cancer Society touch the lives of so many. Those who are currently battling cancer, those who have faced a diagnosis or will face a diagnosis in the future, and may help many to avoid the diagnosis altogether. Today we're here to celebrate all those who have battled cancer, our survivors in the purple shirts, remember loved ones lost, and take action to save lives. Over the next 4 hours, our event will recognize the battle waged around the clock by those facing cancer. The light and darkness of the day and night parallel the physical effects, emotions, and mental state of a cancer patient while undergoing treatment. It is going to be an action-packed experience, so let's get started in just a little bit. Before I get too far into things, I'd like Mary Johnson, and I'd like us to give Mary a hand because she has put in countless hours. She's amazing because she keeps working and working and working behind the scenes, and we don't even know how much she does. So, Mary Johnson, folks.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Thank you all for coming to our Relay 2024. Scott has touched on some important facts. We all know the importance of self-checks, yearly exams, healthy eating, and exercise. But did you know that a positive attitude helps too? For all these years that I have been doing Relay, I have noticed all of our guest speakers are always positive and thankful. Yes, thankful. Don't you ever wonder why? Why are they thankful? I think it's because I have figured it out. It's because of all of you. All of the love, the support, the prayers, the positive vibes that you give to one another. I had a woman say to me that she no longer comes to our relays because she finds them depressing. I said, really? I find them inspirational. Everyone has a story to tell. Everyone is here to support one another. I am thankful that you are all here. There is strength in numbers, so I would like to thank you all for coming, for not only supporting us, but for supporting each other. There's also someone very special that we need to say thank you to. We have a generous, anonymous donor that gives us $5,000 for the Memory Challenge. Let's give him a round of applause. How generous. People often ask where the money goes that we raise at Relay. First of all, research. We need to find a cure. We have navigator cards like this with the 800 number on. You can get it over by Cindy over there, by the gray mats. So when you call the 800 number, they have a cancer specialist that will answer your questions. They are there 24/7 to answer any questions you have, to provide you with the information. Let's say you just had an MRI or some other test, and you don't know how to read it. You don't know what the results mean. You can call them day or night, and they will give you the answers. They will explain the results to you. If you have other questions, they will start by asking your zip code to narrow down your options. They have transportation to appointments called the Road to Recovery, where volunteers will give you a ride to your doctor appointments 100% free to you. They also have 2 Hope Lodges where families can stay for free. And a new program called Stay America is where they give discounts to stay at participating hotels. Everything depends on the situation that is needed. They will need to type in your zip code, like I said. Their search engine will find information on local and national levels for different organizations. Not all of them are American Cancer Society, but they will help you find what you need. Sometimes you may just need the emotional support. Sometimes you need legal advice. They can help you with insurance information if you are underinsured and you are not on Medicare or Medicaid. They may be able to help you with financial support such as rent, etc. So please pick up one of the cards and call the 800 number if you need. So I would like to say, remember, you are not alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. We'd like to ask for those of you that are able, please rise at this time, remove your headgear, and we welcome the Hutchins-Stendal Post 191 to present the flag, and the national anthem will be sung by Heidi and the music played by Steve Tudhope. Thank you, Steve and Heidi. Thank you to Hutchins-Stendal Post. They are going to be leading our survivors in our survivor lap. The lap tonight is just going to be follow the orange brick road. And since we're not outdoors, we can't go out and about. Actually, before we do that, we are going to have a couple of speakers. If I could follow the program, I would do that. Mary, do you have introduction for Karen? Or is Karen going to kind of introduce herself? Karen Franson is going to be our survivor speaker, and Ellen Hauser is going to be our caregiver speaker. So maybe you ladies can tell us a little bit about yourselves so that everybody gets a little chance to know you. So let's welcome Karen.
Okay, hello everyone. I grew up in the small town of Fairchild, Wisconsin, surrounded by lots of family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, many, many cousins. My mom is one of 8 children, and my dad was one of 11. I graduated from Osseo Fairchild High School in 1981, and later that year I married Eric Franson and moved to Strum, Wisconsin. We were dairy farmers up until last September, when the boys decided they didn't want to milk cows anymore, so they put up a couple chicken barns. At the most, we were getting about 23,000 eggs, and right now I think we're about 16,000 eggs. So, okay, Matt is married to Brittany May, and they have 2 children, Jocelyn and Mason. CJ, or Christopher James, is married to Brittany Ann, so, and they have 1 son, Otis. And we all live in Bruce Valley. Okay, up until a few years ago, I thought I was in pretty good health until March of 2019 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Farmer's lung followed on April 30th of 2021 when I woke up that morning and couldn't breathe while getting dressed for morning chores. I thought I was maybe having a heart attack, but in June 2022, I had a heart attack. It was masked by all the symptoms from my farmer's lung, and I needed a couple stents. I now have a total of 5 stents. Yes, I'm a cancer survivor. Thank goodness life goes on. I just had my 5-year checkup on June 19th, 2024, and I'm cancer-free. And I got a lot of scribbling on my paper here because it was supposed to be a couple weeks ago. And I had my breast MRI on July 23rd, which was yesterday. And I was supposed to be there at 8:40 in the morning. I got out of there at 11 o'clock. They were running way behind. So, but I did get my screening done. And then I hurried off to Augusta to pick up my mom because she had cataract surgery a week ago and was back for her appointment. Well, then while we were waiting, she had all her preliminary exams and stuff, and we were waiting for the doctor to come in, and my test results from the MRI come through. So, and everything is clean, chest wall and everything, and so I got the confirmation from an MRI too. Okay, so, okay, my breast cancer was ductal carcinoma in situ, DCIS, they thought. Well, it was upgraded to IDC, or invasive ductal carcinoma, 2 months later when I had my surgery. There are 2 types of the ductal carcinoma, the DCIS, which starts in the milk duct and has spread beyond the walls, and the IDC, which starts in the milk duct and spreads to nearby tissue. But I did have 2 other spots of DCIS. Okay, and my family, cancer has been a topic for many years at different family gatherings. As a child, I grew up knowing cancer is real and age doesn't matter. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins have been diagnosed with various forms of cancer. Years ago, my dad and his siblings pooled their resources and had genetic testing done on my cousin Sue to find out what we were up against. Cost at the time was several $1,000s for all the tests. The results showed that our family are BRCA1 and 2 gene mutation carriers. Now that can be misleading because everybody has BRCA1 and 2 genes. You get 1 from each parent, so you got 2 sets of each, but ours were just bad. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little bit about the family history so you know what has actually been going on. I'm not going into great detail, but I'm going to start with my grandpa and grandma card. My grandpa Mike Card, he had colon cancer. My grandma Elsie had pancreatic cancer. Grandpa Mike's 2 sisters, Ruby had breast cancer and leukemia, and May had PPC, which is primary peritoneal, and also her daughter had cancer. One brother also had primary peritoneal, and then a brother Arnold, who never had any cancer, lost both his daughters to cancer. Well, Grandpa and Grandma had 11 children. It turns out 7 have had cancer, but 2 were skin cancer in the later years of their lives. Okay, I'm going to go through a little more family history on their 11 children. Evelyn Farmer, that would be my dad's oldest sister, had breast cancer at 55, colon and uterine cancer at 60. She is deceased. They had 10 children. Here's what's happening in some of their family. Daughter Ann, cancer at 25. She is my age. She is still alive at 60. Granddaughter Vicki has also now got breast cancer. So that is actually 3 generations if you count mother, daughter, and granddaughter, but it's 4 if you count Grandpa Mike. Okay, the next one in line is Bud Card, and he had skin cancer later in life. He had 3 children, 1 boy. The other 2 were daughters. Daughter Sue is the one that they did the genetic testing on, because insurance did not cover it, and they did not cover it when me and my sisters also were tested. Well, Sue had breast cancer, and later she got ovarian cancer, and she died in her early 40s. Daughter Connie Valdez, this was Bud's daughter, second daughter, breast cancer at 45, recurrences at 47, 58, and 63, and she is still alive. Next in line was Uncle John. He's not had cancer yet, and he actually has 2 families. He was divorced. Out of his first family, his daughter Jennifer Card, breast cancer at an early age, ovarian cancer at 50, she died at 52. And the second family, which had 3 children, was Tammy, and she last name was Burkle. She breast cancer, deceased at 45. They also had Todd, but Todd was my Uncle John's stepson. Ronnie had him before they were married. She was with someone else, and he was actually no relation, and he actually died in his 30s. So, and he was in very good shape. He was a long-distance runner. Okay, the next one on the list is Henry Card, and that's my dad. And I actually had Dad up for his 6-month checkup to dermatology today. I had him up 6 months ago, and he ended up having several spots burned off, and they took a couple bypasses, so he had some surgery and stuff. Well, today they burned off over 40 spots on his body. He worked on the railroad, and he was a farmer part-time. So, but he always wore hats and stuff, but it didn't seem to make much difference there. But anyway, so they were doing 2 biopsies on 2 of the spots. But in my dad's family now, and Dad just got cancer, and he's 84 years old. So, but my sister Dee Dee died at 48. She had primary peritoneal, which is actually a stomach cancer. And then I had breast cancer at age 55. And then we also lost my sister Lori, but she actually died from a stroke. She had a stroke at 15 months, and at 17 months she had open heart surgery, and she lived to be 30. Next in line is my Uncle Roger. He had brain and bone cancer, and he died at the age of 68. He had 2 sons and 1 daughter. Next is Alice. She had breast cancer at 69. She has 3 sons. Edna Anderson, breast at 32, ovarian and uterine at 55, deceased at 55. My Aunt Donna, a DNC at 27, breast cancer at 61, deceased at 62. Bev Jensen, no cancer, but she had a heart attack and is deceased. 1 son, 2 daughters. Dave Card, Agent Orange, deceased at 71, 3 sons. And the last one is my Aunt Kathy. Shows no sign of cancer, but son Greg has already had skin cancer. So, then on my mom's side, there was 8 kids. Mom is 2 daughters, Dee Dee and I. Brother Arnold had kidney and bladder cancer. Brother Mike, prostate and lung cancer, deceased at 58. And we also have diabetes running in my grandmother's side. My Uncle Carl passed away at 58 from diabetes. So that's a little bit of what my family has been through, and that's just some of the highlights. So, and there's more, but you know, now that we know what our family history has a BRCA mutation, we have a better chance of surviving by being diligent in our screenings and doing some of the preventive surgeries. I chose to do the screenings, and I was doing screenings every 6 months, a mammogram and an MRI. So 1 a year, both of them. So, and that's how I found my cancer so early. But the next section is, in 2008, cancer hit closer to home. This is my sister's story. On December 29, 2008, at the age of 46, my older sister and best friend tripped over a dog at the local dog park when she took her dog Sam to run and play. Dee Dee and I did everything together. So she was the second mother to my boys. I have one of my sons here tonight. The other one is someplace around here with his son at some kind of flag football game. He's playing, so, and he's only 7, so, okay. Well, anyway, she had her dog at the dog park and tripped over a different dog. And anyway, she decided to go in for x-rays because she was having trouble breathing and thought she may have broken some ribs. The x-rays showed no broken ribs, but something suspicious in her stomach. It was primary peritoneal cancer, or PPC. PPC is a rare cancer that forms in the tissue that lines the abdominal wall and covers the organs in the abdomen. So, survival rate is usually 11 to 17 months. There's only 2 stages to PPC. Stage 3, you have a tumor. Stage 4, it is metastasized. She was sent to Rochester by helicopter. My mom was Dee Dee's main caregiver. I was her driver to Rochester for treatments. Mom actually went with Dee Dee for the first chemo treatment. Dee Dee was given a very strong chemo cocktail, is what they called it. They introduced it too fast and stopped her heart. Mom didn't go for treatments after that. Dee Dee's treatments lasted for hours. They had to go so slow with the cocktail that she had. She stayed in the hospital until they were certain what chemo cocktail she could tolerate. First, they gave her months of chemo to shrink the tumors, then surgery to remove what was left. She was cancer-free for 6 months. Dee Dee returned for her 6-month checkup, and her cancer was back. They started treatments again. Nothing worked this time. She passed away in November of 2010 at the age of 48. I was 45, Dee Dee was 46, and Angel was 38 when we got tested for the BRCA mutation gene. Cost was $400 each, and insurance did not cover it at that time. I don't know if it does now or not. Dee Dee and Angel's tests come back on Tuesday. Both were positive. So they thought my luck would hold out. My test results come on Wednesday. I was also positive. So the genetics department decided our mother had a BRCA mutation. They think both my grandparents on my dad's side probably were gene mutation carriers too. Okay, 50% of children with one parent with a BRCA mutation usually will have it. So if you got 4 kids, usually 2 will end up with it. Well, my sister Lori had already passed away at the age of 30, and there was 3 of us left, and we all had it. So that's where they come up that they figure. But Mom has never been tested. I had her out yesterday for her eyes, and she says she doesn't want to know. So, okay. The way it is, humans have 2 copies of BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes, one from each parent. These genes produce proteins that help repair damaged DNA and stop cells from growing and dividing out of control, which doctors call tumor suppressor genes. Harmful BRCA genes variants are rare. They affect only about 0.2% of the US population. There are more than 6,100 variants in the database, and approximately 3,700 of those variants are known to cause diseases. Women with a BRCA mutation are at increased risk for breast, ovarian, pancreatic, and primary peritoneal cancer, or PPC. Men have an increased risk of breast, prostate, pancreatic, and primary peritoneal. Okay, once you find out you have a BRCA mutation, you have options, including the enhanced screening, a mammogram, MRI, alternating every 6 months. That's the option I chose. Otherwise, risk-reducing surgeries, double mastectomies, and removal of ovaries and tubes. And 3 is chemo prevention, the use of certain drugs or other substances to help lower a person's risk of developing cancer or keeping it from coming back. Okay, when I found out I was a BRCA1 mutation in 2029, I chose the enhanced screening options, mammogram and breast MRI alternating every 6 months. At age 50, I did have surgery and removed the ovaries and tubes. There is really no screening for ovarian cancer, and both ovaries at that time had precancerous growth. At the age of 55, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I chose to have a double mastectomy and reconstruction. Eric and I drove to Rochester that night. The night before, they said the surgery would be early. I had the head of surgery and Dr. V, the head of plastic surgery. They both decided they like a simple case for a change with a positive outcome. Went home the next morning. The only hiccup was at my second surgery when they replaced the enhancers with the implants. I was taken back for surgery. They checked the implants and discovered they were the wrong size. Well, the nurse was a young man, and he looked at me and he says, "Your husband would probably enjoy these. They're double D's," he said. So, needless to say, I did not get them. So they started calling around till they found them at another hospital, and they were waiting for the ones that they had at our hospital. Okay, so they sent me to the room to watch a movie until they showed up at the hospital. A few hours later, I was back in surgery, then recovered and went home that night. I always thought if I got breast cancer, they were gone. That was just the way my brain worked. A preventive double mastectomy is shown to reduce the risk of developing breast cancer and BRCA1 and 2 mutations by 95%. So now I'm supposedly like everybody else. Okay, in May 2013, everybody knows who Angeline Jolene is? The news when she made the news when she found out she had a BRCA1 mutation and had an 87% chance of getting cancer and had a risk-reducing surgery of a double mastectomy with reconstruction. In January of 2009, when my sister Angel and I found out we were BRCA1 mutation carriers, but since our sister Dee Dee also had tested positive and already had PPC, when they plugged our numbers into the computer, our percentage come back at a 92% risk of getting cancer. I've been going through family pictures, trying to get them organized for the boys and get names and stuff on them. I was looking for a picture of my cousin Sue, the one that they did the genetic testing on that passed away at 45. Every picture, I know you really can't see this, but Sue is the one here. We were all told to smile. We're at some family gathering, so I'm sure we were out running around having a good time, and suddenly our parents decided they needed to take a picture. So we're all told to smile. Well, my sister Lori is in this picture, and she's the one who passed away from the stroke. She's got a little bit of a smile, but then it's Todd, our step cousin, and then Sue, and then my sister Dee Dee and myself. Well, Sue's kind of saying it all. She has her tongue sticking way out so in the picture, and that's the picture they snapped. And the rest of us kind of got not a very good smile on our face. But this picture comes around, and we got a card family reunion, they call it, on Facebook. And pictures will pop up now and then. And it's surprising, you know, in the pictures that we have, we can pick out the ones that are still living and the ones that aren't. Like in this picture, there's 5 of us. I'm the only one still alive. And I have other cousins that have a lot of these pictures that are the same. And I have more with other cousins that I'm the only one left. So, but now that we all know we are BRCA1 carriers, we do the screenings and stuff. And we do the surgeries and stuff when it starts showing up. So, in closing, I'd just like to share 2 thoughts. First, it was my screenings that caught my cancer so early. Don't put them off. Get your tests and screenings done as soon as you can. Second, enjoy life. Take the time for family, friends, loved ones. Go to the birthday parties and graduations. Take the vacations, play cards, make those phone calls, or just share a cup of coffee. Life is so precious. Don't waste time. Don't waste the time you have left, for tomorrow doesn't always come for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That was quite amazing. I think somebody should do a documentary on your family. It's just incredible. I've never heard of a family that was that involved with cancer before, and every time I see Karen, she has a big smile on her face. So Mary mentioned earlier about, you know, some people feel these are depressing. I think that's, you know, Karen is a vision of happiness and stick-to-itiveness, and, you know, just continue on with life, just keep going. So really appreciate you presenting tonight and sharing your story. Now I'd like to have Ellen Hauser come forward. She's going to talk to us about caregiving.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Just briefly, I've lived in Whitehall for 46 years, taught here for 34, raised 3 wonderful daughters, and have 5 grandkids. So that's big in my life. So anyway, good evening, everyone. I'm glad we could get together for this meaningful event in this comfortable location where we don't have to be concerned about mother danger. Thank you to all the organizers and the Relay for Life teams for making this wonderful event possible. When I was asked to give the caregiver speech for tonight, I was quite surprised. After giving it some thought, I knew that there had been times that I had been helpful to some very dear friends and family members dealing with cancer, just like many of you have. But I wasn't their caregiver. Caregiver is a really tough job. You become so responsible for someone very dear to you that is sick. And you don't even know what to do, much less how to do it. And besides, what does it involve? And then I realized there were times when I had helped my mom, my brother, my neighbor, dear friends, my daughter-in-law, Lisa. But maybe, without even knowing it, I had helped their caregiver. I had become a caregiver for the caregiver. Writing this speech had been on my mind for a few weeks, and wouldn't you know that Facebook came to the rescue. Well, not just Facebook. Facebook and Mother Teresa. One of my friends had posted a meme with a quote of Mother Teresa's, and it was perfect. It read, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love." There are many of you that do small things with great love that are so important to a person with cancer and to their caregiver. Maybe you offered rides for appointments, organized or brought meals, visited, became a prayer warrior, shoveled their walk, mowed their lawn, or helped with our Ivy Hoodie project. So some of you may be wondering, what is the Ivy Hoodie project? Well, it's got its start thanks to my daughter-in-law, Lisa, who is fighting GBM, or brain cancer. She had spent most of 2023 with follow-ups to surgery, infusions, blood draws, and various other treatments. During these treatments, she was always cold and wore a hooded sweatshirt. That's when she decided to ask my daughter, Jackie, if she thought I could put a zipper in the sleeve of her hoodie to help make her treatments more convenient. So my sisters and I got together, and we gave it a try. It wasn't easy putting a zipper where it wasn't meant to go, but we figured it out and sent 2 Ivy hoodies to her. Thank you, model. Lisa was thrilled and wanted to pay it forward. If you know Lisa, that's the kind of person she is. She wanted to pay it forward to others who were also enduring treatments. The sisters, better known as the aunties, got together once again, and we made it happen. We surprised Lisa with 15 zippers in the sleeve hoodies at Christmas. She was thrilled. She and Jackie began mailing them out to others in their GBM support group. Soon there were more requests, and we continued to sew. In all, they mailed out almost 50 Ivy hoodie sweatshirts. A pretty good example of a small thing accomplished with great love. When the Ruth organization, Rural Unity Through Hope of Trempealeau, Jackson, and Buffalo counties got wind of this project in March of this year, they wanted to give their support. The financial support of Ruth and many other organizations and individuals and donated manpower have helped the Ivy project grow locally. At this time, 24 sweatshirts have been gifted to people in our area at no charge. Not only do we put zippers in the sleeve to aid in the treatment, but we also sew zippers in the chest for those who may have ports for their treatment. If you know someone undergoing infusions that would like one of these Ivy hoodies, please contact me, a Ruth member, and we will make it happen. I have a few of them here tonight if you'd like to take a look, and a couple of brochures with some information. This project is a reminder for us that doing small things really makes a difference to those in need. So yes, I believe there is a caregiver in each and every one of us. Our acts of kindness could never replace what their daily caregiver provides, but we can all do small things with great love. Thank you.
If there are any caregivers who would like to join in on a lap. Anyone else who'd like to join in, you're welcome to do so.
I'm a virgin,